To the hot and sunny Lone Star State we go for today's matchup. It's RGV playing host to Swope Park Rangers. All 3 points on the line. Both teams currently in the playoff picture, looking to make their situations that much better. Hello, everyone. Tyler Terrens along with former USL star Devin Kerr. Devin, both of these teams coming into this game in spectacular form, both coming off of convincing wins in their last games.
Absolutely. Like you said, both coming off convincing wins with high firepower, goal-scoring opportunities. They both put 3 up on the board. I'm excited to see what they bring to the field tonight.
And one player that we're going to keep an eye on for Swope Park is going to be Carlton Belmar, as that young man has been in great form as of late. 4 goals this season so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an explosive forward. He's got great vision and can really, really stretch the field.
And on the other side for RGV is a man who's going to be paired up with Eric Bird, and these two are very dangerous in the attacking third. Jose Escalante in particular, very dynamic up front.
Absolutely. I like to call Escalante the maestro of their midfield. He's a dynamic midfielder. He's got great playmaking ability, an excellent left foot, and he's deadly with dead ball situations. Again, both teams coming off of 3 points in their previous matches, and for Swope Park, we'll take a look at their starting lineups. Not much has changed for Nikola Popovic, mostly the same. Not much, but you got Meloto, Belmar, Selbo. Meloto coming off a goal and an assist last week, made the USL first team. Those three combination really good offensively.
Definitely worth noting that the youngster for Swope Park, Eric Palmer Brown, is one of the mainstays at the back for Swope Park on international duty in a U20 World Cup for RGV. A couple of changes here and there. Haven't played a game in 15 days.
No, but you got a couple mainstays with Ward and Wharton. Ward, maestro of their midfield, Eric Bird up top, and Escalante. That's a great combo, and Garcia coming around as well. Makes for a great start for those guys.
RGV coming off a convincing 3-0 win over OKC, doing a season sweep over Jimmy Nielsen's squad. As the RGV fans are starving for some football. They've gone 15 days without it, coming off a bye week. We'll have kickoff on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to HEB Park, as the fans here in Edinburgh, Texas are ready for some football, and we hope you are as well. Both teams coming off of 3 points in their last matches, as we are underway here in Texas for this match between RGV and Swope Park. Again, both teams coming off of wins in their previous matches. Hello, everybody. Tyler Terrens along with former USL star Devin Kerr. And Devin, both of these teams have not drawn a game yet this year. Both teams more than capable of producing goals. We could probably expect to see a very open match today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, RGV tends to be a little bit streaky at times, so I'd like to see them get into a rhythm early. We mentioned earlier the offensive firepower they're capable of. Swope is a little bit more solid in the back recently, a couple changes, but you know, as long as they start to settle down, they could be okay.
And RGV, again, coming off of a bye week, so they have actually not played a match in 15 days. That most recent match coming against OKC is their early foul called against Kai Green. And it'll be a free kick opportunity for RGV. And Junior Gonzalez said that it was business as usual. They treated this week like any other week in terms of playing, but the previous week where they sort of had that lag in between the last game, they were able to get an inter-squad scrimmage. And talking to him, it seems like training was very sharp over this past week.
He said it was very sharp, kept him in their same routine, and that's great for players in these situations. You don't want to mess with their routine. You don't want to mess them up. Consistency is key to their performance, and they're going to exhibit that here today, I think.
And Swope Park on the other side, coming off of a 3-1 win against Whitecaps FC. That snapped a 2-game losing streak, and the Swope Park team has been known to be, I guess, unbeatable at home at the moment. They have 4 wins out of their 6 games at home, and then they have 2 losses on the road coming to the Monarchs as well as Phoenix Rising, who are certainly one of the more talented teams in the USL. So it'll be interesting to see how manager Nikola Popovic approaches this game, maybe just trying to get 1 point on the road here.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, they have not won on the road yet. Can't just seem to put a good package together. But I was really impressed by Popovic's squad last week. They were extremely organized. As we mentioned, 3 goals up on the board. Consistency for them. All around, great game, great performance.
And Junior Gonzalez telling us earlier in the week that his team more and more so starting to look like exactly what he envisioned this team would look like on the pitch, and that's high pressure as well as possession, although you think that, you know, they seem to be a bit streaky at times just in terms of the way that they possess the ball, and they sort of float in and out of games at times.
Yeah, though I don't necessarily agree with Junior that streakiness has been their strong suit, their ability to counterattack at any point in time. You know, the turnovers, they turn and they run, and that's okay. Not everybody plays a high profile or high possession style of football, but it seems to benefit them recently anyway.
Well, RGV had that great win against OKC, a team that had also come off of a bye week 2 weeks ago. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know, when you were a player and you were coming off a bye week of that nature, I mean, was it good to get the rest, or would you almost rather play consecutive weeks just so that you can stay in your rhythm?
I personally would rather play. Training was not my strong suit. You'll hear most players say that they'd rather be on the field playing. Training is usually the harder part. You know, I've mentioned consistency, and that's what these players want as well.
Bit of heavy touch there as Wharton able to find Bird. Bird coming off a goal in the game against OKC last week, as well as Garcia and Escalante. Escalante, our featured player this evening, as him and Eric Bird will be looking to be linking up in the attacking third for RGV, who are certainly one of the teams to look out for in the USL. I know that you saw a couple of things online just in terms of that RGV was favored coming into this game as far as the betting world was concerned, but as far to your knowledge, I mean, what are you looking for in this game? What's something that stands out?
You know, we've seen them put up the goals. Like I said, we've also seen the streaky, though, too. We've seen the win. We've seen the loss. We've seen the win. We've seen the loss. We want consistency from RGV. We want to see them, as they're doing right now, moving the ball around the park, put it on the carpet, make the ball do the work, make the other teams chase, not necessarily counterattacking every single possession.
As RGV able to win the ball back, Dylan Remick as well as Jorginho James getting starts this evening for Junior Gonzalez. Neither of them started in the previous game, but both have seen minutes here and there, with the first team being the Houston Dynamo, a hybrid affiliation with the Dynamo, as Junior Gonzalez in constant communication with the front office of the Dynamo, and number of players being sent up and down. But he says that it's been easier than most, or I guess easier than last year, in terms of dealing with all of the players moving up and down. But he said that it's just been very good communication with the front office, and it's just been easier to catch up because they're playing they're playing such a good brand of football at the moment that it's easy for guys to be able to step in even when they only have about 48 hours of notice.
Yeah, well, you're all training, you're all practicing the same things. You're sliding into the same system, so you can get a player on and off the pitch pretty easily, and they all know each other. Makes for a quite consistent brand of football.
And here's a little bit of a dicey almost giveaway, as it'll end up being Swope Park, who is trying to maintain possession, as Belmar fighting for it on the far side with Kai Green, as that'll certainly be a matchup to keep an eye on all game. But almost a cheap giveaway for RGV. That's actually how they got things started against OKC a couple weeks ago. It was a miscue turnover that resulted in an Eric Bird goal, as Swope Park getting their first spell of possession here on the road at HEB Park. We mentioned before that Swope Park has not won away from Children Mercy Victory Field in Kansas City just yet, but this is a team who reached the USL Cup final a year ago. They have so much talent from top to bottom, and certainly a team that a lot of people expect to be there at the end again this year.
Yeah, they've got the pedigree. You know, winners find ways. They know what it takes to get it done. They've got a little bit of good form going. You know, they're 4-2, and they just need to. You got to be consistent on the road. They haven't done so yet, but looks like they're starting off with a little bit of high pressure, and we'll see what happens.
Here's Belmart trying to slot it through, as that was intended for Maloto. And here comes RGV on the other end. It's Jose Escalante, the Honduran. Striding forward, has a couple of options, looking for the home run ball to Garcia on the far side of the field, but intercepted, and Swope Park will maintain possession. Again, the center back pairing, not exactly what Swope Park are used to. Eric Palmer Brown, one of their more mainstays and steady eddies in the back, has gone off for international duty with the U.S. men's U20 team, playing in the U20 World Cup in South Korea. So Palmer Brown will be out of the Swope Park lineup for quite some time, obviously assuming that the U.S. will advance past the group stage. But certainly a loss. But again, going back to that point, Devin, that this club just has so many resources, so much talent from top to bottom, that things won't really change that much once you have a player like that maybe going for international duty.
No, again, you're going back to the system. You got to be able to get in and get out. These guys got to make the most of their opportunities, though. You know, it's great for him to slide into the national team opportunity, but that gives another player to step up and say, hey, you know what? I want to win that spot. I want to be a starting team player. I want to move up and go to the first team.
And on the other side of the flip things, Junior Gonzalez had nothing but good things to say about Eric Bird, who he feels has taken a number of strides this season alone, and thinks that he's somebody who could get the call up to the Houston Dynamo in a short amount of time. When we asked him whether or not that was going to happen soon, he obviously was playing his cards a little bit close to his chest. But, you know, this is a guy who has been very active in the middle of the field as well as in the attacking third, but sees him more as a 6-8 player in the middle of the field rather than in a 10 or on the attacking wings.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually am quite curious to see if Bird's going to start finding the back of the net a little bit more. You see him isolated in situations up top. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to capitalize on those opportunities, but you see him. He's a hard worker. He's got a good engine, and he'll push that.
Ball was intended for Musa, and now here comes RGV on the other end, intended for Todd Wharton, and it'll go all the way back to the Swope Park keeper Andrew Dykstra. There you see Junior Gonzalez for RGV. So let's go all the way back to Taylor Hunter. And there's a little bit of a late challenge up top, but the referee says play on. Big sweeping ball intended for Escalante, giving the Swope Park defense some questions to answer, and they're unable to answer them. It'll be a throw-in as Colton Storm surrenders possession.
Yeah, it's a solid ball there from Charlie Ward, though, huh? Look up, 40-yard ball, switch and play. Escalante's got to be a little bit more aware, but they're still going to get a throw out of it here.
And that's what you'll see sometimes in the opening 10-15 minutes of a game, Devin, is just simply making the backs turn their back and having to go chase a ball, maybe create some space in the middle for your midfielders to operate.
Yeah, like you said, first 10 minutes, you got to make the most of your opportunities. Everybody's kind of jostling for position on the field, and sometimes that first 10 minutes of both halves is when you're going to see mistakes made, and people are going to capitalize on that.
Kai Green doing well to just simply keep that in bounds, let alone keep possession. And we just Hunter trying to send it over the top for Wharton, and it'll go out of bounds for Swope Park. There you see Nikola Popovic, was an assistant with Swope Park last season. Born in Belgrade, Serbia, raised in Lisbon. Spent some time with Benfica B in Portugal, and now finding a home with Swope Park. Jorginho James making life difficult on the near side for Dylan Remick, and I'll go back to Swope Park. Bit of a miscue here and there for RGV and for both teams for that matter. And Selbel coming from an offsides position. There you see Dylan Remick, as he's somebody who's gotten some time already with the Dynamo this season, but just getting minutes for RGV, being sent down and just trying to get match fit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not too bad when you're trying to get match fit with the likes of Kai Green and Tyler Hunter running around on the pitch with you.
RGV turn it over. Here's Oliveira, and it's held onto by Anguita. So first half chance for either team of the match. Here's Colton Storm. James able to put a foot on it. Charlie Ward, and somebody that you mentioned before the broadcast, Devin, that you just really love in the middle of the field. Just, you'll rarely see him surrender possession on the ball, and that's extremely difficult to do in the middle of a park for 90 minutes with so much talent and so much pace in the middle of the park to be able to hang on and keep possession.
Yeah, he doesn't give the ball away. You'll see him in every location and every opportunity he gets. He's always got his body to the field of play. He's got great vision. Ball moves left of the field, right of the field, and you'll see him consistently moving in and out of the gaps as well. He's great for his team back there.
So another RGV turnover, and it'll be interesting to see with both teams deeming themselves as high pressure and as well as possession oriented, to see how those two styles contrast, and even more so, which team is going to take advantage probably on the counter when the other team is throwing numbers forward.
No, absolutely, and especially in the recent games. You know, Swope last week, 2 weeks ago, they were very consistent with possession.
And here's Charlie Ward after a giveaway, squaring it back for James. James is going to have a go. And Dykstra able to make the save, but certainly a good opportunity for RGV, their first shot on goal of the evening.
Yeah, there's Charlie Ward again, sliding into one of those pockets and dropping it back for a nice shot on goal.
And it's those little simple plays. You know, you have some of your piano players in the middle of the field, the ones who are going to have that pass that unlocks the defense and are going to be able to make all of these creative plays, but you also need your piano lifter in the middle of the field, like a Charlie Ward, to cover the ground and to be able to just do the little things that'll free things up for his attacking third members.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not necessarily the little engine that could, but he definitely can. You got to keep the ball moving here, though. You can see RGV trying to push it up top and push numbers. Swope's not having it. They're doing well at keeping possession and kind of calming things down.
Dykstra forced to go long. Nice play in the middle here from Swope Park. And they'll be looking to come out on the other end. Moloto trying to find Belmar. And Jorginho James taken down by Christian Duke, the captain for Swope Park. And it'll be a free kick for RGV.
Yeah, Christian Duke was a little bit lackadaisical coming in on that effort there. Tried to pull out, but ended up coming to the back of him. Referee had no choice but to blow the whistle.
Borja Ngoitia on top of the ball, 25-year-old out of Bilbao, Spain. In his first season with RGV, attended Quinnipiac University. Selbolt, looting Remick, and it'll go all the way around the horn for Swope Park. Amir Jidic. It's beautiful football here from Swope Park. A nice little up back through, an opportunity for service into the box. Swope Park able to keep it in bounds, and it'll be a corner or a throw-in earned for Swope as Tyler Pasher making the overlapping run.
Yeah, that's patience at its best, huh? Ball moving all over the pitch, slots it into the corner. Unfortunately, couldn't get on the end of it, but was able to pull it back, pull a throw off of it, and now they're attacking again.
Good job from Jorginho James to break things up in the middle for Swope Park. Hunter with just a hopeful ball, and Colton Storm able to handle it with ease. And we've seen that a number of times from RGV, maybe thinking that there's going to be a lot of space with that big sweeping ball. But, you know, we've only seen one good one, and that was the big sweeping ball from Wharton to be able to find Escalante. But it's difficult to be able to get the pace, and so that so that the wind's not holding it up as well, to be able to make the backs turn.
Yeah, this is where you kind of go back to the developmental side of the game with the USL guys, where it's, hey, every single ball doesn't have to be a world-class ball. You don't need to hit that 40-yard bridging gap ball that breaks the defense down, streaking forward through. Play it 5 yards, play it 10 yards, touch, move in and out of space, and keep the game flowing. Make the other team work harder.
RGV being patient here, and as we mentioned before at the top of the broadcast, this is their first game in 15 days, and sometimes just have to sort of shake off the rust and be able to find a rhythm, even more so than the normal games where the first minute to 20 minutes can sometimes be a little bit of a struggle to find a rhythm. Here's Escalante getting to the byline. The service towards the back post. Sent back across. There's a save from Dykstra. It falls to Remick. The shot blocked in front. And it will be a corner for RGV, the first for either team this evening. And good movement there from Escalante on the near side.
Oh, as I mentioned, the Maestro, what a great ball coming back near the penalty mark. Ball got knocked out. You saw Remick sitting there at the top of the box. I think he needs to do a little bit better of a job putting that ball on target, but still a great chance.
Well, Dylan Remick certainly had an opportunity, and he was doing more so just to try and get it on frame. You saw that he didn't really take that big of a windup, just trying to put it into the area. As this corner brought to you by HEB. Garcia electing to play it short with Bird. Back out to Ward. It's a good service in. Swope doing a good job to defend it. It will be another RGV throw-in. As this is one of those moments, as you mentioned before, Devin, where you say they start to float in and out of games. This might be one of the moments where they're floating into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Swope's got to be real careful here. RGV's got them on their heels deep in their own third, and see if they can capitalize on the opportunity.
Well, it was just a couple of quick moments of brilliance that ended up being the demise of Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago, and that made RGV look so good as Bird lays it off for Ward. Ward, the strike! Oh, what a beautiful goal for RGV! Bird, the orchestrator, and Wharton, the finisher. It's an early 1-0 lead for RGV.
Well, Eric Bird that's an absolutely brilliant touch. The cheeky little back heel. You got to give him credit there. Not taking anything away from the strike, but the little ball from Bird is absolutely going a long way.
Eric Bird with a spectacular assist. Eyes in the back of his head, and Wharton making no doubt about it as RGV take a 1-0 lead in the 18th minute. And we'll take another look at this one as just an absolute rocket of a finish from Todd Wharton. But again, you have to give the credit to Eric Bird, who just completely deceived the entire defense of Swope Park.
Oh, 100%. You know, I said it was a cheeky ball. It was much better than that. That's a world-class flick on. And then Todd Wharton stepping up at the top of the box and just burying it in upper 90.
Well, the two UVA products, University of Virginia, that is, won a national championship together and able to link up in the final third together as well. And you could see that those two have played together before, as they seem to be on the same page week in and week out, but right there getting tangible results for their telepathy, if you will, as it's a spectacular goal for RGV, and they take an early 1-0 lead against a Swope Park team who time and time again has not exactly shown up on the road as they have at home, as RGV continuing to put the clamps down. Garcia on the far side, working on Belmar, who's come back for his defensive responsibilities. Green. The New Jersey native will go back to the Jamaican Jorginho James. And here's Remick. James again. And RGV oozing with confidence after that goal. They're clearly in possession here and have maybe I've spoken a little bit too soon as James gives that one up and Dykstra will be able to collect. But a great start for RGV, and that's a way to shake off the cobwebs after not playing for 15 days. I mean, what a way to start.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely put a more of a pep in their step, and Swope's got to be real careful here. They're on the road. They've been down before. Nicolas just got to get his boys to settle down. You know, you're 20 minutes into the game. It's no big deal. It's one goal. Got to regroup and get back in your formation. Get back to the soccer they were playing at the start of the game, you know?
Tyler Terrence with Devin Kerr here, Edinburgh, Texas, as RGV has taken a 1-0 lead thanks to Todd Wharton's strike in the 18th minute. Eric Bird gathering the assist as Bird continues to be an instrumental part of the attacking piece of this RGV team, who continue to impress around the USL. And this actually just the second team that RGV is playing that's inside the top 8 as far as the Western Conference is concerned. Their only other opponent that was inside the top 8, but not even at the time, was San Antonio FC, a 1-0 loss in the first game of the season. as Garcia unable to track that one down to go back to Swope Park.
And once again, there's that long sweeping ball. They're not connecting. They need to go back to what they were doing. They were moving possession very, very well, and it turned into a phenomenal world-class goal.
But sometimes, and you can maybe agree with me or disagree with me, but that sometimes that long ball is needed just to maybe give the opposition something to think about, and that there's the potential for it to be there and there's the potential for it to be played, as Escalante's shot always going wide. And it sort of creates that space in the middle of the field maybe for things like the Wharton goal to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to keep your opponent honest. And that long ball pushing it back, it's going to keep the back line guessing. It's going to keep them on their heels. Need to see a little bit more movement up front with Escalante and Bird. Maybe some diagonal runs coming off of those balls. I like the idea. We just need a little bit better execution.
Well, something that Junior Gonzalez pointed it out in our conversation with him earlier in the week was Bird's improved vision and just his ability to recognize where players are on the field, and that goal speaks volumes about the steps that he's taken. I mean, he said that he has the engine, he has the IQ, he has the technical pieces, but it was just sort of that, I guess, intangible. I mean, it's tough to be able to teach vision, and Eric Bird continuing to show his manager as well as those who are watching at home that he certainly has what it takes to maybe take his game to the next level, as Junior Gonzalez made very evident in our conversation with him.
You got a little bit of taste of the vision right there, huh?
As the offsides flag will be up. Nonso Sebel, 19-year-old out of Nigeria. And 2 games in a row now that RGV have started very quickly. They scored that early goal against OKC, which had ended up being the winning goal after RGV would put 2 more in through the course of the 90. But Junior Gonzalez's team doing just a good job of starting games strong, and there's so much that can be said for an early goal, because at the end of the day, goals do change games.
Oh, absolutely. They're making me make my entry-level words to this game, because they're pinging the ball around the park pretty nicely right now.
Magalhaes with some neat footwork to get away from Belmar. Here's the New Jersey native Kai Green. And RGV with the 1-goal lead can be very patient here in their build-up. It's Remick. These are 2 teams who were in the postseason a year ago. RGV getting knocked out in the quarterfinals, and Swope Park, as I'm sure most of you know, getting all the way to the USL Cup final where they fell to New York Red Bull 2 5-1. Certainly a lopsided scoreline, as here's another good ball for Sebel, but well defended by Dylan Remick. And a man who's gotten a number of appearances with the Dynamo already this season. His starting points are just going to be spectacular, and RGV fans will get a taste of perhaps what the first team looks like a little bit.
Yeah, there was Swope on the counter side of things trying to knock one of those long balls into the corner. Haven't seen a lot of Belmar, Meloto, and Sebel yet. That's a deadly combination, the 3 of those guys, but they've been a little bit quiet here early on.
James up for the header. Wharton trying to get on the right side of things, as it will be a free kick going the other way for Swope Park. And some of you might be able to even hear at home somebody from the sideline on Swope Park just saying, gotta go, gotta go. Maybe just a little bit of impatience on the Swope Park side just in terms of the buildup. And while it is nice to be able to possess in your own defensive third, there has to come a moment, Devin, where you simply just have to go forward.
You keep running into a wall. what do they say the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and expecting the different result.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Swope's keeping possession a little bit here, but it's not really panning out. Maybe change your tactics a little bit. You don't need to switch your formation up, but they haven't really had the ball outside on the wings at all. Put some balls in the channel, stretch the field, make them run, make them chase.
Swope Park giving away Dylan Remick, and that's a nasty challenge coming in late.
No love from the referee there.
And the referee electing not to go to his pocket or his whistle for that matter, as Junior Gonzalez looks on with a 1-0 lead at the moment, thanks to Todd Wharton's brilliant strike and possibly even better setup from Eric Bird in the 18th minute. And right now that is the difference maker between these two teams who were both in the playoffs a year ago. Certainly the potential for a rematch maybe later on in this season. They'll have one more meeting at Children's Mercy Victory Field a little bit later, as Escalante bending the ball in behind the defense, hoping for Garcia. He's not going to get there, but a great idea from Jose Escalante.
Yeah, there's Escalante with that nice left foot swinging the ball in. Garcia needs to do a little bit better getting on the end of it, but nice ball movement. Notice Bird coming in and out of the channel there again. Great combination play.
There's Liam Doyle filling in for Eric Palmer Brown at the back for Swope Park, as Palmer Brown, as we mentioned earlier, on international duty with the U.S. U20 team. As Oliveira. Now for Selbo. And Selbo and Maloto simply just not on the same page, and it'll be a goal kick for RGV. And it really has been that final ball that hasn't not only not been there, but it just seems to be on a completely different page altogether.
Yeah, in a situation there, I don't know about the same page. They weren't even reading the same book. You know, you guys got to have better communication, especially when you're in the attacking third. You got to work together. Combination play is key to break down this back line.
Escalante unable to keep it in bounds, and Colton Storm will get the restart. This is a Swope Park team who has certainly scored a number of goals this season. They're also prone to giving up goals, as they're averaging a little bit more than a goal conceded a game. But in terms of efficiency and accuracy on the offensive side of the ball, this is not necessarily what we expected from a Swope Park team who's been so clean in the offensive third.
No, not whatsoever. I mean, you can't score 3 and give up 4 every game. The consistency isn't there. They seem a little bit rattled too. You see them trying to move the ball, but RGV's doing a really good job with their pressure, and they're not allowing them to knock it around the park. They're only stringing together 2, 3, 4 passes, and they're making some silly turnovers.
Here's Storm. Trying to find an avenue of penetrating ball, but nothing that he quite likes just yet. Duke. Pasher finding the feet of Belmar, who's certainly been kept in check and now dispossessed. But Belmar doing a good job to win the ball back, and Swope Park will maintain possession in RGV's side of things. And it was actually a poor touch from Oliveira. And it'll be a handball.
There it is again, another mental lapse. They're moving the ball, 3, 4 passes, give it up. 3, 4 passes, give it up. It's like the heads are in the clouds.
Possibly the heat is affecting them. It is 102 degrees in Edinburgh, Texas at the moment. Probably still around fall weather in the Kansas City, Missouri area. So it's certainly a little bit of a climate shock factor, if you will, for the Swope Park team. I'm sure manager Nikola Popovich isn't going to want to make any excuses come halftime. Swope Park able to turn over RGV in their own side. That pass intended for Storm, but Dylan Remick in a solid position to defend, and it'll go all the way back to Swope Park's defense. Half an hour in, Todd Wharton's goal in the 18th minute, the difference maker. Swope Park trying to find their way back into this game. There's a good challenge from Jorginho, and it had to be. Ward. So good at hanging on to the ball. Able to lose 2 defenders in the process. Now here is the goal scorer, Wharton. And one of the 4 touches that you'll see from Ward, probably the only one we'll see from him all game, as Oliveira and company looking to counter on the other end. Oliveira Now wide for Storm. 1v1 with Remick. Storm trying to give it back for Oliveira, but Jorginho James and company doing a good job to retreat defensively. And now here's Escalante off to the races with plenty of green to gallop into. Escalante, and just a bit too heavy of a touch as the RGV fans were hoping for possibly two. Oliveira and Selbo not exactly on the same page. Ward trying to slip it through for Escalante. It was a good idea, but Jidic and Doyle in that back line were very good right until the last.
Selbo giving the ball away again. He's got to make some better decisions. He's got enough time for a cup of tea, and he's just giving it right away to the other team. Play the ball, move away, get out, get it back.
Swope Park still trying to find a rhythm. Haven't been quite themselves just yet in the first 32 minutes.
I'd like to see a little bit more out of Musa and Oliveira. They're a little bit flat-footed in the midfield right now. You can see them walking around. Look at both of them. Behind the ball, ball's down in the channel.
There's a good run and a good ball. Belmar trying to keep it in, but unable to do so. But that play did look a little bit better from Swope Park, as the run from Belmar was just a little bit different than the ones that he had been previously making. He checked in and then spun out and was able to find it in space, but the ball just a little bit out of his reach.
Yeah, nice little turn. Like you said, a little bit out of his reach, but definitely much better from Belmar. We've seen a little bit more out of him in the past 3 or 4 minutes.
Garcia flicking it on. Wharton back for Garcia. He'll loop it on over for Escalante. Remick overlapping. Escalante will go his avenue. Remick chasing it down. And it is going to be a goal kick, as Remick arguing the fact that it was a Swope Park player who touched it last, but I guess the referee maybe making one of those personal decisions rather not to award the free kick, but just going to allow the goal kick. So it's not completely disadvantageous for Swope Park, who should have won the ball at the end of the day.
If I was Remick, I'd go judge style and throw the book at him.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that was going to a corner there. Unlucky for him.
Well, it should have been a corner or a free kick.
Great perseverance, though. Yeah.
Well, Swope Park have certainly had more of the ball in the first 33.5 minutes, but it has just been almost useless possession, if you want to use that word. But I mean, they really have not created any chances at the moment. RGV have created a couple, obviously cashing in on one, but certainly a slow start from the USL Cup finalist a year ago.
Yeah, they're pretty to watch when they move the ball. But again, just before, another 30-yard ball across the field, they're shooting themselves in their own foot.
One intended for Belmar, as Malotto was also in on the mix. Pasher with a neat little touch to bring it down. Malotto trying to chip it through and find Selbo. It's a good ball. Selbo, fake shot, trying to put it on frame. But right there on the scene was Angoitia. And he was able to make the save. Certainly a miscue from Selbo, who might have been better served to strike that first time.
Yeah, it looks like he had a little bit of a footing issue. He's unlucky there.
Great ball in from Malotto to find Selbo. And probably the best movement we've seen from Swope Park, but it took a copious amount of creativity just to be able to get the ball to that point, because RGV has been so sound at the back.
Absolutely, and even when they got up there, again, reverting back to what we're talking about, it's just that tiny little mental lapse. Be a little bit more precise.
Here's Kai Green. Eric Bird. Wharton and Bird playing a little game of their own at the moment. The double give and go does not fall through, as James will send it out wide for Escalante. Still numbers for RGV. Escalante on top of it. And there's a bit of a dicey play there, as Liam Doyle was trying to clear it out of the area. And it ended up working out perfectly, as Dykstra was able to hang on to it. But nervy moment there for the Swope Park, as they were almost down 2-0.
Popovich is definitely holding his breath on that one. Great combination play with Wharton and Bird again.
Well, the two former Cavaliers just constantly on the same page, and they're giving Swope Park fits. What few times RGV has been able to get into the final third, but it's been Swope Park possessing in their own defensive third, not making much of it on the other end, and RGV trying to counter. Here's Musa. Trying to take Avenue 1 as Selbo was held up by Magales, but referee choosing not to go to his whistle on this occasion, and it will be RGV possession deep in their own defensive third. Swope Park trying to make life difficult. Nice play from Green and Garcia. Ward, a nice little flick on for Wharton. Now out wide for Escalante. Escalante going for the early service, and that one always going over everybody.
That's
and
pretty.
We'll go back to Dykstra, but great buildup.
Pretty to watch. They're really flowing around the field right now. Spoke's got to be real careful here, and you don't really want to give up another goal just before half and go in 2-0 down.
Well, Swope Park was pushing up the field, and they probably thought that they had RGV dead to rights, but you know, great little 1-2 play in the outside from Green and Garcia, and then Ward just with that nice little easy flick on to Warden, able to find Bird, who then in turn found Escalante.
No, absolutely. RGV for the most part in the back. Thought we had a little chance there with Eric Bird. They've been pretty solid. You know, you got Hunter and Remick doing their jobs. Again, you mentioned Green coming out and playing combination with Bird. They're putting together a couple nice packages. Again, there's a couple minutes left here in the half. Here's an opportunity.
Miscue from Pasher. Bird on top of it, trying to square it back for Charlie Ward. It'll be an RGV throw-in as they're looking to double their delight just before the half. Garcia. Here's Kai Green. Garcia again. Bird linking up with Ward. Now to come over to Remick. Remick does well even though he slipped, and Todd Wharton taken down. The RGV fans want a foul called, but the referee electing to play on, and there's a strong challenge from Jorginho James, and he's going to get called for the foul. And RGV fans letting the referee have it.
The ref's got to keep it consistent, play it both ways. Lets the first one go, lets the second one that's much softer get through. I mean, not negating that the second one wasn't a foul, but how do you give the first one away and let it go? You can hear the fans screaming they didn't like that.
Well, they're certainly going to be pleased with the way their team has been playing in the first 39 minutes as that pass from Oliveira cut out. Magales trying to get around Maloto. And there, the favor is returned by the referee. It'll be an RGV free kick. Remick trying to find Escalante, has some work to keep it in. Swope Park, a little bit of urgency here. Trying to equalize before the half as Charlie Ward ties up Oliveira, and it'll be a free kick for Swope Park, who are down a goal thanks to Todd Wharton's strike in the 18th minute, set up beautifully by Eric Bird, which is the difference maker if you're just joining us.
Smart foul there by Charlie Ward. Swope Park trying to give RGV a taste of their own medicine, and he said, no, thank you, I'll take that. Start play, start over, let the boys get behind the ball. It was very, very smart foul.
Colton Storm trying to get Selbo involved. Long ball ahead for Garcia. RGV likes to do that on occasion, or maybe a little bit more than an occasion, as they've gone that route a number of times, but it does seem to be working in terms of creating space in the middle of the field.
Like we mentioned, they're keeping them honest. You know, they're stretching the field, but they did. You see their combination play for the last 10, 15 minutes. Although we've seen those long balls, you really haven't seen one in the past 5 minutes. And the defense starts to get a little bit lackadaisical. Ball goes over the top, slips in behind, boom, slot another one away.
Well, it's also miles on the odometer for the backs. I mean, they have to turn and they have to make a 30, 40-yard recovery run. They're going to get to the ball most of the time, but it's still just miles on the odometer and racking up those minutes, and just a little bit of a war of attrition for Junior Gonzalez.
Not to mention the 102-degree weather.
That's a small factor. Those are details, Devin.
Small factor, but it'll take its toll.
Sprayed out wide for Kai Green. Seton Hall University product. Finding Wharton, trying to leave it for his former collegiate teammate Eric Bird. But the flick just not executed in the way that Wharton would like. And now here's Swope Park coming on the other end, as Maloto stumbled and then committing the foul to compound the problem.
He's got to be angry at himself there. If I'm Popovich going in at half, I'm going to have a nice stern talking to a couple of my players. They're shooting themselves in their feet. They're making stupid mistakes that they don't need to be making. RGV's playing a great game right now, but Spoke's not far behind him. They're putting together some good possession, but when they're getting into the final third, they're turning their brains off. They don't know what they're doing.
Magales has to go all the way back to Ngoitia. Bird fighting for position. And it will be a foul on the University of Virginia product. Swope Park trying to play a little bit too quickly there, and the referee bringing it back just to give RGV a chance to get their defensive shape. Bird and Wharton once again on the same page. Ward out wide for Remick. A little bit too cute there from Wharton and Bird, and could be a costly turnover as Swope Park looking to take advantage, but have to go backwards to go forwards here. Pasher dealing with a feisty Emilio Garcia on the far end, and James able to win a throw in for RGV. Bird giving Jijic problems, as RGV trying to make life difficult here for Swope, as team from Missouri looking to get an equalizer before the half here, but just no sign of life for almost, you could say, the entire 45 minutes here, Devin. They did have that one opportunity with Selbo when the ball was flicked over the top by Maloto, but other than that, there really has not been much to write home about for Swope.
It's lethargic is the best word to describe it. Mental lapses all over the park. There's another one. Mental lapses all over the park. Poor communication. Again, they're not moving the ball poorly, but it's just that tiny little touch at the end. You know, they're getting into right where the area they're at right now, and then they're giving the ball away.
Here's Musa. Selbo to make one defender missed. Ngoitia comes out and punches it away. Maloto on top of it. Belmar shaking off the first defender. Selbo took a little bit too much time. Oliveira. Handball, please, from the Swope Park side of things, but the referee having none of it. Eric Bird spinning away from two defenders. Escalante almost turning nothing into something there, but a good job from Jidic, or rather Liam Doyle, who's filling in for Eric Palmer Brown. Musa with a great sweeping ball over for Pasher. Asher trying to get around Kai Green, one of the better defenders in the USL. Here's Duke. Pasher again trying to get to the byline. And again, it's good defending from Green, but he does surrender a corner. We do have 1 minute of stoppage time here in the first 45. And maybe an opportunity for Swope Park to equalize in what has been a very lackadaisical first half.
Be nice if Swope could get up and knock one away here, huh? Kind of steal the momentum, if you will, before going into halftime.
Well, set pieces can certainly be a backbreaker and a spark for a team that needs it. And Swope Park is certainly the latter. And that corner not going to do any favors for any attacker, as this will most likely be the last kick of the first half. Thoughts on the first 45 minutes?
I'm very impressed by RGV. Again, made me eat my words. They've been pretty consistent on the ball. They've actually mixed up their play as well, where they've gone through a couple lapses where Swope's had possession, and then they counter and they counter and they counter, and then they bring their own spell of possession into the play. I think they've done really well, and I think Swope's got to take a long, hard look at themselves in the dressing room and figure out what they can do in the second half to make it a little bit better.
Well, there you do it for the first 45 minutes from HEB Park. You can hear the roar from the fans, as they have certainly enjoyed the first 45 minutes of football here, as it was Todd Wharton who got things started, and right now it is his goal that is the difference maker. We'll have highlights, stats, and oh so much more when we come back.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit USLD3.com.
Welcome back to HEB Park at the half, where the home side RGV has a 1-0 lead over Swope Park thanks to a spectacular strike from Todd Wharton. The orchestrator was Eric Bird, and that is where we stand at the moment. Tyler Terrence with former USL star Devin Kerr. Devin, thoughts on the first half?
From RGV, I'm really impressed with Wharton and Ward. From Swope Park, I'd like to see a little bit more consistency all around and more energy up top as well. They're not really bringing any offensive firepower.
And here are the halftime stats at the moment. You can see Swope Park edging RGV in terms of possession. A little bit surprised to see that it's only 52%, considering Swope has spent the majority of the game in their own defensive third, possessing the ball, not really threatening.
No, absolutely. But RGV did go in and out of those lapses of possession, counteracted by some counterattacks as well. So not that surprised, but yeah, I thought that number would be a little bit higher.
RGV at the moment up 1-0 thanks to a strike from Todd Wharton. They've certainly made the most out of the opportunities they've been able to create for themselves. Swope, on the other hand, a team that we expected to see very lively, active, dynamic, creative, what have you in the offensive third, has really come out lackluster. Possibly the heat, possibly the travel, we don't know, but we're hoping that it's going to be a little bit more exciting half on the Swope Park side of things. But for RGV, they're all smiles and they're having a sweet time here at HEB Park, munching on some cotton candy and enjoying some good football at the moment as their team is up 1-0 thanks to the strike from Todd Wharton. Eric Bird getting the assist as we are moving right through the halftime show here at HEB Park, as we'll have highlights and a little bit more when we come back.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. Information, visit usld3.com.
Back here at halftime at HEB Park, 1-0 lead for the home side, and that is RGV playing host to Swope Park. Todd Wharton strike in the 18th minute is the difference maker at the moment. And we are going to have highlights and second half kickoff when we come back after this break.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Halftime here in Edinburgh, Texas. 1-0 is the score. Todd Wharton is the goal scorer. Eric Bird the assister. And Swope Park right now on the wrong side of a 1-0 score line, as RGV has been very impressive just in terms of sticking to their game plan, Devin. They've been a wall defensively, and they've taken chance of their opportunities on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. Bouncing force all over the park. Some good opportunities, and they took advantage of them, scoring a great goal. Let's see what happens.
So, right from the get-go, Swope had a couple of opportunities here and there. Aguanita made a save, but for first 10-15 minutes of the game, it was a little bit slow. We were waiting for both teams to get into a rhythm and sort of who was going to show their cards, and then this was just phenomenal.
Absolutely. The ball comes in off a restart on a throw. Eric Bird with that cheeky little back heel, and Danny Wharton coming off of it, buries it in the upper 90. Perfect execution. Great goal.
Eric Bird with his second game in a row just being involved in a goal, and his former collegiate teammate Todd Wharton cashing in the check there. And RGV would take the lead 1-0 in the 18th minute. That would be the only goal of the first half, and really would be the only goal-scoring opportunity for either team for the remaining 25-some-odd minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the mental lapses, a couple unnecessary fouls, and a lot of mistakes by Swope Park. RGV kept kind of sticking it to them. Loved the counterattacks. Had some great balls going back and forth by Charlie Ward, and couple opportunities, but nothing really to write home about.
And you saw there, Selbol had a very good opportunity. It was Malota with a great ball over the top, but it seems like he just couldn't get his footing right in order to hit it first time.
Yeah, probably should have hit it first time. Had a little bit bad footing, but was unlucky. Again, you've got the combination play up top with Wharton and Bird going back and forth. Ball outside. Escalante serves a great ball here. Unfortunately, they couldn't finish it off.
Escalante has certainly been busy in the opening 45 minutes, and this is probably the best buildup of the game we've seen from either team.
Absolutely. Starting on one side, putting the ball on the carpet, and moving around. Escalante again with that sweeping left foot. Unfortunately, couldn't put it into the box. Needs better execution, but the thought process was there.
Well, both teams coming off of 3 points in their previous games, and right now RGV looking to make it 6 points in a row. As there's not much to write home about for Swope Park. They really did not have that many opportunities throughout the course of the game. And we'll take a look at Swope's upcoming schedule, and it really doesn't get any easier. I mean, you take a look at this, you're playing probably the best team in the USL at the moment. You have a home-and-home with them, and then you have Tulsa, who is a very tough out, although at home, and then Phoenix, one of the more talented teams in the USL.
Yeah, I would say their saving grace, book is going to be that they're playing at home. They're proving right now, and they've proven before, they can't win on the road. Hopefully they can change their fortunes here in the second half.
And for RGV, this is a team that has played a number of games at home. They're going to start to be on the road a little bit, but they have this opportunity against LA Galaxy 2, a team that's been struggling a little bit from the gates, but another opportunity on the road against Sacramento and Reno to be able to try to pick up points and maybe just pick up a point at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Toros, it's got to be consistency. They've won, they've lost, they've won. They're putting goals on the board, and they're playing pretty well right now, and you want to see that continue in games to come.
So these are the standings at the moment entering today. There are obviously some things that are going to shift around, but just seeing that there is such a small amount of points that separate the third place team from the 8th place team, this is a great opportunity for RGV to really hurl themselves into the forefront of the playoff conversation.
Yeah, and on the flip side of things, you could see Swope drop from 4th to 8th real quick. You know, you got to capitalize on your opportunities, and Swope has got to win on the road. They got to find a way to do it.
And on the other side of the Mississippi, we certainly have something to talk about just as far as Charleston. I mean, them and San Antonio have really been the talk of the USL from the start. Romario Williams and the Charleston Battery have been somewhat of a juggernaut in the early going.
Absolutely. Kind of a little bit of foreshadowing of things to come down the road. We'll see what happens.
Well, the RGV fans at the moment are enjoying a 1-0 lead, but still plenty of football to be played. If you're manager Nikola Popovic for Swope Park, what could you possibly be saying in the dressing room to your boys?
You just got to tell them to settle down. You know, they were moving the ball decently, but again, they were the ones making the mistakes. RGV wasn't forcing a boatload of turnovers. They were making the mental errors, and they were making the mistakes. Just keep your heads up, stick together. You know, they'll come out of the dressing room a little bit refreshed. I'll be curious to see if Popovic makes any changes. But, you know, they stick with their game plan. They might be all right. They just got to weather the storm from RGV.
In your experience, when you're on the road, do you sometimes find it easier to be able to step into the second half, having already played 45 minutes and been in the environment for a certain period of time, to be able to step into the second half and maybe just calm down a little bit, as we obviously see a change being made here?
Yeah, each individual tends to kind of flutter to their own characteristics and is different. Personally, I didn't have an issue with it, but you know, some guys like to be in the flow of play already. Other guys coming in fresh can also provide that spark. Maybe when your team's down, you're not out though, and coming on with fresh legs, push those guys to the next level, get that mental lapse out of the way, put a goal on the board, and get back to basics.
And it's Parker Mayer who checks in for Swope Park, 23-year-old, and a Joplin, Missouri. Attended Missouri State University. Most recently seen was St. Louis FC. He is going to get the nod for the second 45 minutes. So Popovic electing to make a change. And I'm sure he made a couple tactical changes as well, because their presence in the attacking third was almost non-existent as we are underway here in the second half. Tyler Terrence with former USL star Devin Kerr, as we are looking forward to another great half of football here in Edinburgh, Texas. 102 degrees here at HEB Park, as it's Tyler Patcher who's coming off, and Patcher usually is somebody who gets extremely involved in the offensive attack for Swope Park, just as far as outside backs getting involved, but with the lack of offensive production, Popovic is almost forced to make that sort of change.
No, absolutely, and it's putting a little bit of pressure on the boys up top as well. It's going to make Belmar and Meloto work that much harder, but again, that's a good combination they have up there. They just got to kick it into high gear here in the second half.
Well, if you're just joining us, you missed a phenomenal Todd Wharton goal in the 18th minute that was set up by a beautiful back heel from his former collegiate teammate Eric Bird, and that right now is the difference maker. As here's Selbolt trying to play a little 1-2 with Meloto, and it will be a foul and an opportunity for Swope Park to get something going from the restart. They elect to play quickly. Musa. Here's Liam Doyle stepping forward and caught an elbow from Jorginho James. No call, though, from the referee. Belmar trying to hunt it down. Kai Green able to find the chest of Garcia. Swope Park able to keep it in bounds, or for a moment they were, as it will go back to RGV. Bird bringing it down and spraying it across for Escalante. Dylan Remick joining him on the attack. Sweeping ball across, goes under the foot of Belmar and works out for RGV. Garcia down the line for Bird. Bird a little bit too cute there, and a heavy touch goes out of bounds and will go back to Swope Park, although deep in their own territory.
Yeah, this is the first time we've actually seen Bird kind of out of his own little element making a mistake.
Oliveira coming back to break up play for RGV. And Dykstra will send it away towards the Toros end of things. Collision in the middle of the field. Here's the substitute, Parker Mayer. Nice penetrating ball. Maloto slipping it through for Belmar. And Guainita off his line, makes the save. Belmar again. And it is a deflection. It's going to be a corner. And a number of Swope Park players are furious with Carlton Belmar, as are you, Devin Kerr, just from your reaction here in the booth. Belmar had a number of players who were over on the right side and tried to take it himself.
Oh, Popovich has got to be screaming his lungs out on the sideline. He missed the first opportunity. Lay the ball off. Let your boys finish it. They were wide open. They should have scored there.
Well, Carlton Belmar, who has 4 goals in 6 appearances this season, felt like he was in good enough form to be able to take it himself. Jidic trying to flick it on. Ward gets on the end of it and just sends it into an area for Escalante to run out to. He's not going to get there, but a great opportunity for Swope Park goes by the wayside as Belmar possibly let the moment get the better of him.
Yeah, I'm sure Maloto and Selva are going to have a few words with him after the game, but you know, Swope Park putting the pressure on there. Let's see if they can continue to apply it. RGV on their heels right now, and they need to take full advantage of this opportunity.
Mayer going all the way back to Dykstra as Swope Park do look a little bit more lively here out of the gates in the second half, as they were anything but in the first 45 minutes. And I'm sure Nikola Popovich didn't have too many nice things to say about his team's performance in the opening 45 minutes, although they weren't able to keep possession of the ball. And like you mentioned a couple of times, Devin, they look good when they're in clear possession, but it's just that penetrating ball possibly bypassing a player in the midfield to be able to unlock the RGV defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And give credit, hang on, coming down the side here.
As Belmar unable to shield off Kai Green, will be a goal kick.
And give credit to RGV as well on the defensive side of things. I mean, you keep the ball in front of you. I'll let a team go back and back and forth on the park all day long. Sometimes going side to side isn't the end of the world. You got to chase a little bit, but if they're not coming forward and they're not putting the ball in the back of the net, it's not the worst defense.
There's the man in charge for RGV, Junior Gonzalez. I'm sure he was pleased with his team's performance in the first half, and it looked like RGV had a clear plan to just clog things up in the middle for Swope Park, not allow them to be able to get out and play in the attacking third. As this is a nice ball over across for Escalante, taking it on the volley, and the shot always going high, but it was a good ball from Garcia to find his counterpart on the other side of the pitch. Escalante was unable to put the finishing touches on it.
Absolutely, another one of those, as you mentioned, long sweeping balls, switching the field, switching the park, and Escalante did a great job about pulling that ball down. Got to do a little bit better about putting it on target, but you know, great ball movement from RGV.
Garcia has done a good job on the outside. You can't say enough about an outside midfielder who not only performs in the attacking third, which is the fun part of football, but the not so fun part is the defending side, and Garcia, along with Kai Green as well as Escalante, do their part defensively on the outside, which just takes such a load off of the outside backs, who then are just having to cover one person instead of maybe 2 or 3.
Absolutely. You can actually see the backs interchanging. It's great combination play, and the boys in back are going to be very appreciative of the effort he's putting in tonight.
Long ball sent ahead for Bird, trying to hold off the substitute Mayer. Bird back for Green, and he'll come around the horn for RGV. Margulies and Hunter have been very solid at the back for Junior Gonzalez thus far. Charlie Ward coming all the way back to get it. Margulies opting to go with Remick. And here is Ward, 22-year-old out of Birmingham, England. The New Jersey native Kai Green. The little 1-2 is a good ball. Belmar tracking back furiously, able to poke it out of bounds, but it will be a throw-in for RGV here in the 53rd minute.
That's some nice little combination play down there in the corner. Well done by Belmar to get back, though.
Here's Bird posting up deep in Swope Park territory. Bird, a couple of fakes, still on it, trying to send it towards the back post, able to win a corner. Savvy play from the UVA product, and another opportunity for RGV to possibly double their delight. The second corner of the evening for RGV. Emilio Garcia on top of it. This corner sponsored by HEB as it goes right towards the front post. Hunter was there, chested back out towards Garcia. Garcia's second ball is a good one. Doesn't get past the second defender. And it's sent back towards Kai Green. And RGV will be able to restart. Bird trying to hold off Mayer, and did a good job of selling that to the referee, and it will be a set-piece opportunity for RGV.
I think Taylor Hunter found himself a little bit out of his element there on the ball to the near post. Caught himself in La La Land. Was lucky to retain possession for his boys.
Well, the ball almost caught him in the chest rather than him trying to chest it down for Garcia. Wasn't sure exactly what to do with it, as Remick's pass out towards Escalante somehow kept in bounds. The Honduran finding the English native Ward. Sprays it all the way across for Garcia. Garcia able to keep it in bounds, but not able to stay on side. And we'll go back to Swope Park. Good play early on from RGV as they continue to switch the field of play in spectacular fashion. Haven't found the back of the net for the second time just yet, but a little bit more open from Junior Gonzalez's team. Nice step there from Hunter, but the pass to Green just a little bit short. Belmar finding Mayer, and RGV pressing a little bit higher up the field. Todd Wharton along with Escalante providing the pressure, and Colton Storm, a rare mistake from him on the outside. And that's sort of been the story of the night for Swope Park, Devin.
Yeah, mental error after mental error, but you know, give credit. I mean, they're trying to move the ball. They can't put passes together. You know, at some point in time, one of these guys is going to have to start yelling at his boys and pick his team up and say, guys, let's get it. Let's go. We got to salvage something here on the road.
Eric Bird taking his knocks now, as that's the second foul in just about 2 minutes. And he's been on the latter end of. Green looking to go for the early service. It's a teasing ball, giving all sorts of problems for Dykstra as well as the back line of Swope Park, as Dykstra finally able to come down with it. But that's that corridor of uncertainty right in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot that is an absolute nightmare for defenders and goalkeepers alike.
Absolutely. Kai Green putting a little bit of old English on that ball that he served in. Like to see a little bit better job of RGV getting up in there, but goalkeeper was wandering around, had no clue what was going on.
Swope Park finally able to take a deep breath. Here's Musa finding that penetrating ball for Selbolt. And again, RGV doing a good job of just cutting off that initial pass. That pass that Swope want to play is not there, but it's being able to have maybe more than one option that's going to behoove Swope Park to try and get this equalizer, because RGV is just doing such a good job of reading what Swope wants to do And Junior Gonzalez had nothing but high praise for the Swope team, likes the way that they play, and had nothing but good things to say about them. Clearly, he's been doing his homework in the 15-day break, and they have come in extremely prepared.
Yeah, 100%. He definitely watched his tape on these boys. And, you know, someone's name we haven't really mentioned too much, Jorginho James. He's done a great job holding down the middle of the park. You know, we've been giving a lot of credit to Charlie Ward, but make no mistake about it, he's been counteracting a lot of the possession coming up the field from Spoke and turning it over to his team.
Well, Jorginho James can probably fall into that category of piano lifter rather than piano player. He's doing the dirty work as far as the defensive side of the ball and allowing Charlie Ward to be able to cover ground as well, but more so just be on top of the ball, almost like an Andre Pirlo effect, where he's not necessarily driving at players, but just linking up play in the middle of the field and being that outlet.
Yeah, it's nice when you have Pirlo in front of you when you got Gattuso running around in the background as well. Great little combination the two are proven today, and I'm sure Charlie Ward's very appreciative of his efforts he's put in so far.
We're trying to flick it on for Garcia, a bit too cute there, and they are able to cut it out. 59th minute here at HEB Park. If you're just joining us, Tyler Terrens along with Devin Kerr, former USL star, as Todd Wharton striking the 18th minute is currently the difference maker. As these two teams who are currently inside the playoff picture, obviously a little bit early to be talking about that just yet, but certainly what these players play for. And when Junior Gonzalez was asked whether or not it's something that they keep an eye on, he said it's hard not to, because that's exactly what you're fighting for. You're fighting to be inside the top 8 all season, but at the end of the day, a lost point or a lost 3 points here is not going to deter them from their ultimate goal of getting back to the playoffs. But they know what's at stake. They know that a win here would propel them directly into the forefront of the playoff contention, and their team is playing like they're in midseason form.
Absolutely, and especially, you know, we've talked about it time and time again about the consistency. You want to see some solid performances from your team, and
we are going to have a foul right at the edge of the box. This is a dangerous set piece opportunity for Swope Park, as it was Selbo who was taken down. It was actually away from the play initially, and the referee making a big decision here. It is outside of the penalty area, so it will be a free kick, but you have a number of talented free kick takers for Swope Park who can get on top of this. It looks like Oliveira is going to claim it, but some work to do here for RGV's back line, and in particular, Ngoitia.
Yeah, RGV's got to do a better job in that situation. You can't give up a foul like that right at the top of your box. It's a momentum changer. See what Swope does here. See if they're going to go right at goal or some tricky little 1-2 combination play. I'm sure someone's going to have a direct shot.
It looks to be a 6-man wall for RGV. Looks like Oliveira's on top of it. It's Oliveira who hits it, and hits it a mile high. And that sort of sums up the evening for Swope Park. Even when they have a point-blank look at goal from a mere 20 yards away, they just can't seem to get it right. And RGV comes away unscathed.
Yeah, their plane home is going to land faster than that ball is. If Swope's going to have anything getting back into this game, those are the guys, though. You know, I mentioned the guys up top, Malota and the Selba, but we haven't been talking about Kevin Oliveira and James Musa. They haven't really been doing a good enough job about controlling that midfield. They need to be a little bit more dynamic and make some more opportunities available for the guys up top.
Charlie Ward trying to play that big switching ball again. The second one falls to Kai Greenberg. Some neat footwork to hang on to it, trying to find Wharton, who was probably in an offside position if he were to play the ball, and Dykstra able to pick it up, and Swope Park will have possession here. Played just a little over an hour of football, as RGV have come in extremely prepared. They've been on a mission. They've executed extremely well, being rewarded for their efforts by a strike from Todd Wharton in the 18th. And on the other side for Swope Park, just lackadaisical and an uncharacteristic performance from Nikola Popovic's team, as Bird is called offsides. And Devin, for you, what is the one thing detail-wise in the attacking third for Swope Park that needs to change?
I don't think they're being very creative. I mean, you see the ball moving as they're doing right now. They're doing a great job about moving it around back, switching field, switching play, but you're not seeing a lot of runs from the outside guys or the boys up top. They're not really being creative. They're not moving into space. And that, in turn, they got Musa, and
as Bird picks up the turnover, Sliding it across for Wharton, and the ball just a little bit too soft as the challenge came in well from the Swope Park back line. Dykstra able to come all the way out and get it and bring it back into his area, but Bird and Todd Wharton had another opportunity to link up, just not quite there that time. Moloto, little 1-2, and it was much better from Swope Park as Moloto able to pick it up again. RGV pleading for a handball as James is going to send it over towards Garcia. But that was a little bit better movement from Swope Park. Again, that final ball not exactly there, but it is still early in the season, Devin. You know, we've played about 6 or 7 games, and while you're not going to be making excuses, and no manager in the USL will, but you know better than most people that the final third is the last part of the puzzle that really falls into place as far as the course of the season is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that'll come with time, but at the same point in time, you've got to have creativity. And, you know, Swope's just not executing right now. And 63 minutes into the game, we don't have a boatload to talk about in the final third. And the only 2 things that we do have pretty much come off of RGV turnovers and their mistakes.
Well, there will be a corner for Swope Park, and something that can sort of jolt a team back into the game is a set piece, so we'll see if that holds true for Swope Park here, although their set pieces have not exactly been on par as far as service. This service is good, and the header from Musa going over the bar, but a decent sign of life on the offensive side of things for Swope.
Yeah, absolutely. Musa's got to do a better job about getting up and heading that ball down, at least putting it on target and letting the boys get there for a rebound, but like you said, a little bit line flying.
Goitia has certainly been challenged a couple times just in terms of coming off of his line, but as far as shot stopping is concerned, he hasn't really had to make any big saves. He's come off his line a couple of times, but Selbel had an opportunity. He sort of squandered that more than Agoitia saved it, but not too much work for the man out of Bilbao, Spain. There, finding Belmar, who has certainly been kept in check, and there's Jorginho James once again breaking play up and not allowing Swope to be able to possess cleanly. James still on top of the ball. The Jamaican slowly but surely finding his way up the pitch. And now Garcia just going to send it down the line. Great work, and there's another slip pass through for Wharton. Things could be on here for RGV. Wharton back for Ward. Somehow able to keep the ball as he's still fighting off a Swope defender, and Charlie Ward will win a foul for his efforts, but what fantastic build-up playing out of a tight area for RGV. It all started with Jorginho James, and it almost ended with Charlie Ward.
Yeah, Jorginho James, as we mentioned, the little bulldog in the back there, winning the ball and slowly but surely making his way up the pitch. Did a great job getting down into the channel and knocking the ball back.
And it looks like it's going to be Kyle Murphy who's going to replace Jose Escalante, who has certainly been busy on the left side, logging a lot of miles. And his day is done in the 66th minute, and Kyle Murphy will get about 35 minutes to run around. Thoughts on Escalante's performance?
Más o menos. I thought Escalante did a great job today. Put in a hard shift up and down that side. Knocked a couple good balls in, knocked a couple bad ones in, but overall I thought it was a good performance for him.
And this could be an issue for RGV. Oliveira trying to find Moloto and just could not find that ball. Things were certainly on for Swope Park. It was a disastrous mistake as Charlie Ward was trying to head it back towards his defenders and now makes amends. But if Swope was going to have any chance of equalizing from the run of play, it's probably going to be off an RGV mistake, and they're not going to commit any bigger than that.
No, not at all. Give credit to RGV, though. Even though they did turn the ball over, their backline did a great job of not letting them penetrate all the way through.
Here's a long distance strike, and Ngoitia had to get down for it. And sometimes that can be a good way to mix things up if you're Swope Park. They haven't really had any tries from distance, and that can, again, just make the defense keep guessing, keep them on their heels, and just make them a little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah, keep them honest, you know, and for Ngoitia, you mentioned earlier, he hasn't really had a lot of work to do. Sometimes that's exactly what happens to a team. That goalkeeper, you know, you lull him to sleep, lull him to sleep. Smoke Wing may end up taking a chance like that, and you catch him off guard, you'll tie this game up.
And Natsel Selbolt will clock out in the 68th minute, and that'll mean Robert Mirosevic will check in as both teams starting to play the virtual chess game here. Charlie Ward does a good job to win the ball back. Trying to find Garcia, but just did not lead the pass in front of him enough. And we'll go back to Swope Park. As you can see, both teams maybe starting to get a little weary-legged. Run for almost about 70 minutes.
Yeah, you mentioned a chess match. Seems like a lot of the jostling of the pawns right now. You're not really seeing a lot of movements of the big pieces. Kings and queens are obviously holding, and you know, Swope's got to step up here. They've only got 22, 23 minutes left on the clock, and they're not really showing much. You know, we talked about what they needed to do at halftime. I really haven't seen enough yet.
Well, we're starting to enter the territory where we could see numbers being thrown forward from Nikola Popovic. Possibly a formation change. Nice little flick on here as James finding Ward. Back for James again. Remlick, who's been solid all day. Bird trying to link up with the Englishman Ward, but the pass is a little bit out of his reach, and it'll go back to Dykstra.
Talking about moving numbers forward, Swope really hasn't done, in my opinion, a very good job at using and utilizing, the wings enough. You can see them going up the middle every single time, and you've got speed up there, and you've got the lights in Melodo. You know, Mirosevic just came on. You let him use that speed, get the ball down in the channels, pull it back, bring it across. They're not really doing it. They're going straight up the middle, and RGV sees it coming.
Well, they just tried to go up the middle there with Mirosevic, and Ngoitia had to come off his line. Garcia trying to hang on to it, possibly a little bit too cute. Golden Storm finding Belmar. Still looking to put his stamp on this match. Belmar went out wide, and the pass intended for somebody making a run in behind, and nobody was on the end of it. And here comes a large substitute for RGV as Ruben Luna will be replacing Jorginho James, and James has certainly played a phenomenal game in the middle of the pitch, putting in a number of tackles, as well as Gonzalez checking in for Swope Park, placing Kellen Oliveira. And Robert Luna, who has scored this season already, possibly looking to put the icing on the cake for Junior Gonzalez. Great performance from Jorginho James, and he gets a nice round of applause from the RGV faithful here at HEB Park, as they recognize good footballers when they see him, and James has certainly put in his hours, or rather his minutes and miles, in the middle of the pitch for RGV tonight, executing Junior Gonzalez's game plan to a T, and now gets a well-deserved break.
Interesting tactical change by Junior Gonzalez there, pulling off his holding midfielder that's been stout in the center of their field all day long, and bringing on Ruben Luna, who's great up top. Just got a 1-goal lead with 20 minutes to go. It's not necessarily what I would have gone into my pocket for.
Well, you'll sometimes see managers, in order to be a bit more defensive, go more offensive, but certainly an interesting change as ball sent towards the back post, stays in bounds. Garcia on the end of it. And it was certainly a difficult ball to try and handle. But good play from RGV, and now Swope Park looking to execute on the other end, possibly on the counter. Colton Storm striding forward. Gonzalez unable to hang on to it. And Garcia will be called offside, still tracking back from the previous play, but you can see that Swope starting to have a little bit of a sense of urgency here in the remaining 18 minutes or so.
I think one thing you'll notice here, Tyler, is talking about a sense of urgency. You'll see with RGV, they're knocking those one-time balls and they're moving the ball a little bit quicker. Swope seems to be kind of nonchalantly going for a stroll around the park, and they're taking 2-3 touches to move the ball around. That gives RGV time to reset.
Wharton able to clear his lines, and Swope Park will be able to do it all over again. But like my broadcast partner just said, it's just been a little bit too pedestrian from Swope Park for the majority of the game. And the scoreline certainly shows it. And if RGV were to be able to hold on, it would be a well-deserved win, because they have come out and executed the game plan from their manager in spectacular fashion. Bird for the long outlet for Luna. Luna gets on the end of it, matched up with Liam Doyle. Luna going to hold up and wait for the cavalry to arrive. Trying to slip it through for Bird, and they were working with some small real estate there. And we'll go back to Swope Park, but you can see exactly what RGV are trying to do. As soon as they win the ball, they're going to take Route 1, try to find Robert Luna and hope that he can be able to hold it up or just go himself. Also enter a little bit of a time-wasting phase as well here in the last 16 minutes, as RGV in no hurry to get things moving.
Well, Angoita knew exactly what he was doing there.
Bird trying to get on the right side of things, as Jidic comes away with it.
Again, 15 minutes to go, walking around the pitch, touch here, touch there. Get some urgency, you know? You want to win? Let's go. Move the ball.
Charlie Ward commits the foul there. And the pass from Jidic going awry, and it'll go back to RGV, who are certainly going to take their time with the restart here. Into the 76th minute here at HEB Park. Tyler Terrens with Devin Kerr. Todd Wharton's goal in the 18th minute right now is the game winner for Junior Gonzalez's squad. But they do have to hang on. Swope Park currently showing no signs of life. Loto trying to bring it down for Colton Storm. Going to be TJ Kasner coming in and replacing Emilio Garcia. So both outside midfielders for Junior Gonzalez are done for the day. First Jose Escalante and now Emilio Garcia, who both have put in fantastic performances, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And Garcia will take a nice stroll across the pitch and knock some precious seconds off the clock in the process, as that young man has certainly put in a nice shift here. Exits his day in the 77th minute. And TJ Kasner, along with Robert Luna, will have an opportunity to put their stamp on the game, maybe looking for an insurance goal, but first just trying to see the game out. Mayer. Gonzalez. Wall of orange shirts continues to give Swope Park issues. And now possibly a countering opportunity is Eric Bird with a great ball with the outside of the foot. And it is going to be a goal kick as Kyle Murphy is doing his best to keep it in play. Sometimes where teams can get caught here, Devin, is not just the counterattack, but if you're looking on the Swope Park side of things, it's the counterattack, where if RGV are going to throw numbers forward trying to get that insurance goal, if that pass isn't there or if it's turnover, it can lead to problems on the other end, and you're going to be down numbers where you thought you were going to be up. Yeah, it's definitely Junior Gonzalez is going for the risk reward right now. You know, you're throwing numbers forward, and like you said, it could come back to bite them. But you know, Swope's got to do a better job at capitalizing when that happens. Here's Maloto. Again, RGV have 10 players at least 25 yards away from midfield when Swope Park is in clear possession here. Robert Luna, obviously the outlet. Belmar bringing it down. Under the feet of Gonzalez. Gonzalez orchestrating the defense from the nearest touchline. And it is going to be offsides on Carlton Belmar. And RGV continues to make life difficult for Swope Park. What is it that's making RGV so successful, or is it a combination of RGV's defensive scheme as well as a lack of energy and creativity from Swope Park? I think there's a couple factors that are attributing to what's going on right now. I think in the first half, it was definitely Swope making some mental errors. They've done a much better job in the second half, which attributes RGV stepping their game up. You've also got to realize that you're 80 minutes into this game, 102-degree weather. RGV's having more possession. These guys are tired. And mentally, it takes a toll on you. When you have to chase a lot, especially when you're down, you start thinking that it's not going to happen, and you get down on yourself. First time we've seen RGV in clear possession in about 10 or 15 minutes, as it's certainly been Swope Park on the front foot, but not making the most of it, as Kai Green sending it into the channel. Jidic having to deal with it. Belmar. Into the 81st minute at HEB Park, RGV clinging on to a one-goal lead. No sign of life just yet from Swope Park, but this game, as we all know, can change in the blink of an eye as RGV able to get possession back. And maybe a chance for a second. Kastner along the byline. And Dykstra off his line quickly and very confident doing so. Duke finding the feet of Belmar with a neat touch, but Dylan Remick coming over and helping out his comrade, Magales. And you can see there, Christian Duke simply holding his hands up, palms to the air, looking for any sort of option. Here's a good switching ball. Storm letting it run, maybe just a bit too deep. Trying to get out of trouble here. They're visibly frustrated. I mean, boys at the top of the box handling these, and you're in the offensive third. He's frustrated, rightfully so. Jidic. Perhaps the center back can provide an offensive spark. Christian Duke. A little bit of a heavy touch, gets it over for Maloto. Maloto finding the outside back, Colton Storm. Storm trying to get to the outside, doing a good job, and ball runs out of play. It'll be a goal kick coming, and Goitia. Golden Storm has certainly had a frustrating 83 minutes or so. Dylan Remick perhaps cramping up a little bit here.
Again, nothing to do with the 102-degree weather.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
No. It's 102 degrees right around kickoff. Perhaps it's dropped a degree or two to maybe a cool 98, 99 degrees Fahrenheit, but certainly not ideal footballing weather. Referee did not make a decision to have a hydration break in the first half. Obviously not in the second half as well, so it clearly can't be that hot there, but body language from Swope Park maybe says otherwise as ball goes all the way back to Dykstra. Musa somehow hanging on to it. And some friendly words here for Eric Bird as the two of them having a nice little conversation here. And it looks like the referee is going to go to his pocket as James Musa as well as Bird were a bit naughty there. And the referee has issued cautions to both Bird and Musa. There have been a couple challenges that have warranted a yellow card, a little bit more than a scuffle there, but the referee going to his pocket for the first time here in the 84th minute. Kastner surrendering possession back. Swope Park with a little bit more than 6 minutes to try and equalize. They have shown virtually no signs of life for the first 85 minutes. Can they perhaps muster something up here at the end for a little bit of late football magic? See Andrew Dykstra imploring his team to move forward as they continue to lack a sense of urgency moving forward as Parker Mayer was trying to find the penetrating ball. Kyle Murphy. Nice little flick on from Bird. TJ Kastner, the runner here. Is he able to keep his run? No, he is not. Almost a great counterattack play there from RGV. But they'll have to retreat and continue to defend.
Oh, he's got to hold his run there. Holds his run, he is in for sure. Charlie Ward played a great ball in. Kastner's got to hold the line because they did a great job winning that counterattack.
Well, as a substitute coming on, you only have about 10-15 minutes to make your impact, so maybe just a little bit eager and overzealous trying to get involved in the play in what certainly would have been an easy goal-scoring opportunity.
Happens to the best of us.
But not to a Devin Kerr.
No.
Your modesty is why I love working with you. Belmar and Duke not on the same page. Taylor Hunter sending it a ways towards Luna. Liam Doyle there to clean things up. You have to give credit to the Swope Park back line because they have done a good job dealing with whatever RGV has thrown at them. And it could have been 2-0 a couple of chances, but for the most part, the Swope Park defensive side of the midfield as well as their defensive backs have done a good job to keep RGV at bay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I could say the rest of for the rest of the team coming back to help.
That's why I limited it to the defensive part of the midfield.
But yeah, they've been very organized in the back, and you can see the build-up down the field. They have been the ones orchestrating that. There's not a lot of creativity in the attacking third, but the guys at the back have done a good job. Be quite curious. What are the chances we're going to see reverse of fortune in the past 5 minutes here, and maybe Swope steals one away?
If I were a betting man, and I am by no means one, I would put my money on no. Well, the RGV faithful has certainly been loud and present all game. Swope Park's attacking, certainly a different story, as again, they cannot seem to find that final ball or even the ball leading up to the final ball. As you can see the frustration in the body language of the Swope Park team, who has traveled quite some way to HEB Park and to simply just not show up on the offensive side of the ball, and really is a shame for a team that has been in good form as of late. They broke that 2-game losing streak by taking down Whitecap FC 2. And if you're Nikola Popovic, you're certainly going to have some things to say to your team at the end of the 90 minutes if they're not able to find an equalizer, and even more so, it's probably not going to be a fun training week for the Swope Park team.
Yeah, I would not be looking forward to that. I mean, it's the 88th minute, and Musa, Mirosavic, Milota, they're all walking around. You got to think at some point in time there would be some sort of anxiousness to get up and to want to work together and get a goal, especially when you're behind on the road. That'll elevate you to the next level come the next game. But you know, it just doesn't seem. It's very, very lackadaisical. Again, start over. You're in the 90th minute, boys. Push the ball up the field.
And again, you can't take any credit away from the coaching staff on RGV. Junior Gonzalez and his whole staff over-prepared for this game against Swope Park. They've had 15 days to be able to lick their wounds from the game against OKC, gather themselves, and be able to put their team in the best position to get 3 points, and they have done just that. And while it hasn't been the prettiest from RGV at times, defensively they have just been so sound, so organized, and just a nice collective effort from Junior Gonzalez's side to be able to stifle a team that puts the ball in the back of the net at least once or twice a game.
Yeah, it's stellar execution, especially like you said, from the back moving up. The guys in the back, as well as the central midfielders outside, they've done a great job. Not always precise up top, but enough to give them scoring opportunities, and it's shown. I mean, they're definitely the clear-cut favorite here today, and they've played like it.
Bird finding Ward, RGV possibly looking to put Swope Park out of their misery. Kastner. And we will have 4 minutes of stoppage time. So certainly an opportunity for Swope Park to get back into the game, but it seems like if we were to play 180 minutes, Swope Park would not be able to find the back of the net.
No, they're definitely getting a taste of their own medicine here. Solid foul there by Green.
Spoke too soon. A professional foul there from Kai Green out of Jersey City, and he will receive a yellow card. And the ref went about 83 minutes without giving a card, and in the past 7 minutes or so has given out 3. Kai Green, the most recent recipient. And Swope Park do have a set piece here, and it looks like they're going to attempt to play short. Here's Doyle. Jidic is in the box. He stands at about 6'4", so they do have a big target up front, as well as Carlton Belmar. Milota trying to squeeze it through for Christian Duke. And you can even see the body language from the captain has not been spectacular. Here's a strike, and it's just wide. That would have been a serious backbreaker for RGV, as Swope Park have virtually not shown up here at HEB Park, and that would have been a disaster for RGV, who have played a near complete game here as we enter the second minute of the 4 allotted for stoppage time.
That's exactly what we talked about, trying to steal one at the end. And Goita was kind of sleeping a little bit. Almost caught him on the near side post, but got real lucky there. 2 minutes to go.
RGV fans as well as players making a case for a handball, but the referee having none of it. Just under 2 minutes remaining here in Edinburgh, Texas. RGV looking to make it 6 straight points and to hurl themselves well into the conversation of the top 4 seeds come the Western Conference playoffs, which are way down the line, but obviously something that we need to keep an eye on as we progress through the USL 2017 campaign. The return ball for Eric Bird. Bird already on an assist. Trying to square it back across. Dykstra able to keep it in bounds. And a couple last gasps of air for Swope Park. Charlie Ward trying to hang on to it. Here's Gonzalez trying to split 2 defenders, and Kai Green and Magales doing a good job of closing down the substitute, but Swope Park have been active in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
A little fight in them left.
We'll certainly have Nikola Popovic asking where that has been for the previous 89 minutes, and now the goalkeeper is all the way up on the other side of the field. Andrew Dykstra getting in on the mix and trying to make life difficult for his counterpart. Can Swope Park salvage a point? It's to the front post, does not get past the first defender. Eric Bird able to keep it in play. Along the line for Luna. Dykstra is way out of position, and that was actually Kyle Murphy with the heavy touch. And Dykstra a number of miles away from home as this ball sent towards the back post. Ngoitia with a nice play to let it run out of bounds. And that may do it here at HEB Park.
HEB making it a little interesting here at the end. My heart's palpitating.
It's amazing the game of football can almost lull you to sleep a little bit for the first 89 minutes, but once you get into stoppage time in a 1-goal game, everything seems to change.
Making it fun.
And Goitia being pressed to get on with it. Mayer just thumping it forward. There's a header from Hunter. They're past the 4 minutes of allotted time. Here's Kastner coming down. Murphy on the back post. Kastner with the shot. Blocked in front by Dykstra. Still kept out. And Dykstra able to keep it a 1-goal game. The referee will blow his whistle, and that's going to do it here at HEB. RGV comes away with 3 points. Swope Park travel to the Lone Star State and come up empty-handed. The 18th minute strike from Todd Wharton proves to be the game winner set up by his former college teammate Eric Bird. And RGV making back-to-back wins. It's 6 straight points for Junior Gonzalez's side. We'll be back with final stats and highlights when we come back. The final score, 1-0 for RGV.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
team comes away smiling. 3 points for Junior Gonzalez and his squad as the 18th minute strike from Todd Morton proved to be the game winner. RGV hangs on, a spectacular defensive performance, and the Toros thanking their appreciative fans and their faithful fans for a great match as they were with them every step of the way through the 90 minutes. It was a struggle a little bit at the end. Swope Park certainly made things interesting, but we'll take a look at the highlights. And Devin, this was a very interesting match. It started out with this goal, which proved to be the game winner.
Yeah, again, we talked about it before. The ball coming off of Bird was absolutely amazing. Wharton does a great job sliding into the space behind him. Good first touch, buried it upper 90, great goal.
Take one more look at it just because it was that good. Again, the first touch from Morton is spectacular, puts it into an area where he can have a strike, and he made no doubt about the finish. Morton proving to be the game winner in the 18th minute as him and his former collegiate teammate Eric Bird do the celebrating. And not much celebrating for Swope Park throughout the 90-plus minutes as they seemed to struggle offensively for almost the entire game. I mean, it was just chance after chance that seemed to go by the wayside, and this one in particular drove you crazy, I know for a fact.
Drove me nuts. You know, Belmar did a great job putting himself in position, and he had missed the first strike. Lay the ball up, let your teammates get it, finish it.
Escalante and Emilio Garcia linking up there, and Eric Bird would end up being very busy for RGV as he certainly was making all sorts of things happen. Kai Green getting in on the mix as RGV, while they weren't on the ball all that much, they looked dangerous when they were, and this is the best opportunity of the game. Didn't end up being a chance at all.
No, when you're in a game like this and you're on your heels, you got to capitalize. That ball still hasn't landed, and RGV took a chance against it.
Eric Bird and Morton trying to link up again, but a good job from Swope Park defensively as Musa got back and was able to keep it a one-goal game. But Swope making things interesting down the stretch. They were lifeless for almost 90 minutes, but somehow found some energy in the last 3 or 4 minutes or so to make things interesting.
Yeah, we talked about it. RGV kind of lulled themselves to sleep a little bit. Some decent goalkeeping in the back by Angoita, but you know, Swope they didn't have the magic today.
Couple of substitutions getting on late for RGV, trying to make an impact. Junior Gonzalez electing to go a bit more offensive rather than defensive, moving down the stretch of the game, which proved to be advantageous as they came away with all 3 points. We'll take a look at the full-time stats. Surprised by anything up here?
No, not at all. Again, Swope was moving the ball left to right, and RGV let them have it. They needed more urgency. They needed harder passes, quicker passes. They just needed guys, and they didn't want it today.
RGV coming away with their second straight win. Their second win in 15 days, 6 straight points, and now they are well in the conversation of the Western Conference playoff picture. They were in 8th place, sitting on 9 points at the beginning of the match, and now obviously with some matches having to finish up around the Western Conference and also around the league, we'll see where they fall at the end of the week. But it has been a fantastic night of football here in Edinburgh, Texas, as RGV come away with all 3 points thanks to this strike from Todd Morton, him and his former college buddy Eric Bird link it up in Texas as RGV comes away with 3 points. For my producer, my technical director, and for my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, I'm Tyler Terrence saying so long for now and thanks for tuning in.